Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel, welcome to the channel, welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel, or welcome back to the channel. This is the fourth video in my enormous unhaul. I've got so many books in front of me, it's ridiculous. I've started off with about 350-ish books, and I've added some as well since last night when I did the first 3 videos. So I've woken up to all these videos in the front room, and I'm going to carry on dividing up the books that I'm getting rid of and the books I'm keeping. So it's either going to be books that I'm keeping because they mean a lot to me and I need to keep them, or because I haven't read them yet and I want to read them. And I'm either getting rid of them because I've read them and they don't mean a lot to me, or I might have duplicates, or I've realised I'm just not going to read them. So that's a thing as well. This is all part of me trying to thin out my collection. And what I will end up doing once I've done all this and they're all packed up, either in boxes that I'm keeping or boxes I'm getting rid of, I will also finish off this whole period with videos about my cartoonist collection and stuff like that. So there's all sorts going on. But let's crack on and see what else I can get rid of. Okay. Mayhew's London Labour and London Poor. Definitely can't get rid of this. This is a very special book. One of the most important history books, I think, of all time. Another one I can't really get rid of. The Brailsford book about the Levellers and the English Revolution, the Civil War. Really important. Don't want to get rid of that. I was going to be, we definitely will be reading this for Historathon this year. English Civil War by Diane Purkis. Again, one that I think I need to keep. Witchfinders. I said to Pax that I was going to do a video on witchcraft and like non-fiction books about witchcraft. So I'm going to do that, and this will be featured in that. Poetry book. I've mentioned that I'm trying to get some poetry books to help out with the Pax Panic Poetry Thursday thing. And this Carol Ann Duffy is fantastic. So I'm keeping the Carol Ann Duffy books. This is a pile that I'm not really surprised that I'm keeping because of where they were in the pile, but that's all right. These are books I was keeping for Historathon, so it was things I was going to read. This is the history of Wales, keeping that. This was one I only just bought, Brief History of Spain by Jeremy Black. Jeremy Black is one I read a lot in my degree, so I do trust him. And a really interesting country. Okay, Snail on the Slope. The Snail on the Slope. It's the Stagatsky brothers, who I think are really good. I don't know that I'm going to like everything they've done, but they did write Roadside Picnic, which is amazing. And I've got a few others, but I am going to keep this. You might have noticed in the other videos I've done on this that I am getting rid of some SF Masterworks, but not that one. This one, I will get rid of this once I've read it, but I haven't read it yet. So this is the history of the circus in Britain, and I really like the subject matter, and I'm looking forward to reading it, and I'm going to read this for the Historathon again. My original version of Hitchhikers, I had this a long time, and I'm not getting rid of it. Okay, Teacher's Dead by Benjamin Zephaniah. This was really good, and I think in previous situations where I was choosing what to get rid of, I've decided to keep this, but I'm not. I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to try and be brutal, and if I've read it and don't feel like I'm going to read it again or have to keep it, it's going. So it's going. Another poetry one. This is Benjamin Zephaniah's poetry book called Propaganda. Or Proper Propaganda, and I'll keep this. Do you make it in? Yeah, this is a little bit different from me, but I thought I'd delve into that and see what I felt. I haven't read it yet, so I'm going to keep it and read it. I Am Malala. Another book I haven't read. I really do want to read it, so I'm going to keep it. 100-year-old man who climbed out the window and disappeared. So this is another one that I want to read, but I might have 2 copies of it. If I've got 2 copies, then I'm going to get rid of one. So I'm going to put it down here because I think I've got 2 copies. This is my original version of the Tim Burton book, The Melancholy Death of Oyster Boy. It's a bit got a funny mark on the front, but I'm keeping this anyway. But I know I've got a paperback version as well that's in better condition. I have to keep this. Another Carol Ann Duffy one, The World's Wife. Technicolor Time Machine. I'm trying to keep my Harry Harrison books, so he's an author that I collect. So I feel like he's one of the exceptions. There's I don't know, about half a dozen people that I'm getting everything, so he's one of them. The Bookseller's Tale. I haven't read this, and this is definitely one I don't think I'll keep once I've read it, but I'm keeping it because I haven't read it. Bury My Heart and Wounded Knee. I'm going to reread this, I know I am, so I'm keeping this. This is one of my favourite books. It's one of the only. There's only about 3 books about XTC, and I have to keep this one. Time Machine. I don't really want to get rid of anything by H.G. Wells, so I'm going to keep this. But I'm aware that I'm not getting rid of a lot in this batch. But I'm not going to get rid of the Time Machine. Rip It Up and Start Again. This is one of my favourite non-fiction music-related books. I'm going to get rid of it. I've got another copy at work, I think. I took a load of the books that I own that are music-related to work. I think I'm going to get rid of this. It's very good condition. But yeah. Douglas Adams, Long Dark Tea Time with the Soul. I'm going to get rid of it. Children of Ruin. This is the sequel to Children of Time. Wasn't as good, but once I read the 3rd one, I was hoping to do a video on all 3. And I might have to reread this to do that. I don't know. So I'm going to keep it. This is the 3rd book in the trilogy that started with The Stars Now Unclaimed. The Firmament of Flame. I bought this hardback because I love this trilogy so much. Nobody ever talks about them. But I really enjoyed the trilogy. So it's unusual for me to buy a hardback new. I usually get hardbacks reluctantly, but yeah, I really like this trilogy, so I'm definitely keeping all 3 books. So I've mentioned the 1st book in one of my videos before, and now I'm mentioning this one. That was the last Rivers of London book I bought. I'm going to keep them because I'll probably do a video about the Rivers of London series once I've finished the series. That's 1 box gone. What about this lot? See, I don't know whether I should keep these. These are academic books analysing Warner Brothers cartoons. And I find it deeply fascinating. I'm going to keep it. I can't have to keep it. This is another one of the same sort of thing. I think this is about animation in general. But I have to keep it. This is new fairy tales that have been written by people like Neil Gaiman and Garth Nix. I'm going to keep this because this is the sort of thing I might end my fairy tale deep dive with. So I'm in the middle of that. This was a very special night. This is the play that we went to see based on the Twilight Zone. So I am keeping this. It's a memento as much as anything else. The Circus of Dr. Lau. I buddy read this with my daughter when I bought it, and I am gonna keep this, and I am gonna do a thing later on circuses and fairgrounds and stuff like that as well in horror and fantasy fiction. So there's those. Max Barry Lexicon. I don't remember what this is about. I think it's about language being reduced or being weapons or something. I don't know whether to keep this or not. I'm going to keep it. This is a book that I found quite cheap, I think, from what I remember. But what's really cool is that I discovered that when I looked at the back that the guy lives in Portsmouth. So I thought if I did like it, I might be able to find him and ask him if he wanted to have a chat on my channel. But anyway, I don't know if this is any good, but I feel like I should read this before I get rid of it. A Kim Newman book, a ghost story by King Newman. I like Kim Newman, so I'm going to keep this. I haven't read it. Right. Yeah, this is a horror book about insomnia. I'm going to keep it. Another Maya Angelou book. I need to keep all of the Maya Angelou books. Cocaine Nights. Right, I've got 2 copies of this. So that's one I can add to my pile of getting rid of. I've got this because of Dan Ferraro being an illustrator. He's a cartoonist that I'm a completist. So if I find anything by him, I'll get it. So I need to keep that. One of the things I'm about to start planning and writing is a video about looking at history through cartoons and through periodicals like Punch. So this will be handy for that, and I will be doing that soon. So yeah, keeping this. You don't see this series of collected stories very often. I quite like the way it's done, but this is a little bit bad condition. This was bad condition when I bought it, but I think I'm going to get rid of it. I'm going to get rid of it. This is quite a funny book. I quite like it. Crap lyrics, but I'm going to get rid of it because I'm trying to be brutal. This is a very important book, and one I will talk about when I talk about witchcraft, which I'm definitely going to do because I said to Pax I was going to do it. So this is quite a good book to talk about. James Sharp's Witchcraft in Early Modern England. Starburst. Again, you don't really see Alfred Bester's stuff very often. You only see the big 2. You know, either Stars of My Destination or The Demolished Man. You don't see other books by him, so I'm going to keep this. Gates of Eden by Ethan Coen. So Ethan Coen is the Coen brothers screenplay writers. So they do write them all together, but they decided that they'd give Joel Coen the director credit and him the writer credit. But I know they share the responsibility. But this is a bunch of short stories that he wrote. It's not brilliant condition, but I'm going to keep it. Another Maya Angelou book. All God's children need travelling shoes. This, I might have 2 copies of this, but this is The Pleasure of the Damned, which is a collection of poems by Bukowski, which I did reread recently actually, and it's an awesome book. And these are poems from 51 to 93, so I'm keeping that. Ah, yes. This is a nicer version of I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, which I bought recently because I found it and I knew that the other copy I had was a bit knackered. So, definitely keeping this. This is a book that was given to me by D. Krause in a giveaway on YouTube. So, he's got his own YouTube channel. So, I've got a few of his books, and this is one of them. So, I'm keeping that. Magic Kingdom for sale, sold. I got tons of Terry Brooks books, and I'm going to try and get rid of them. So this is one I'm getting rid of, and this is another copy of the Black Unicorn, which is also from the same series. I'm getting rid of that as well. The Body Snatchers. I really love this book, so I'm going to keep it because I love it. So this is definitely, I'm hoping that category of books that I'm keeping because I love them is going to be relatively small. But I'm keeping this one. This one, Folk Devils and Moral Panics, is a really good book that I do use in my teaching actually, when I talk about the modern rockers. But I'm going to take it to college, so I'm going to take it to school, so take it to work. Because I don't need to keep it, but it's useful, or it could be useful, so I'm going to keep that in my work bag. So essentially getting rid of it. Charlie Brown book. I've got a few Charlie Brown books. I'm not going to get rid of any of these. And obviously, they're amazing, but for someone who collects cartoonists, I ought to keep my Charlie Brown books. The Druid of Shannara. So this is another Terry Brooks book that I'm going to get rid of. I've got loads of his books. It's because I found loads of them really cheap. I thought I'd buy them all up. This is... Oh. Fragile Things from Neil Gaiman. I'm keeping this. I'm not going to get rid of any of my Neil Gaiman books. Okay, Catch-22. Another book I haven't read, so it's one of those books that I've kind of avoided. But I bought it because I really wanted to read it. But how much do I want to read it? It's been sitting there for a while. I'm going to keep it for a while longer. And we'll see how we get on. But, yeah, I should have read that by now. Definitely keeping this. All the Wayfarer series. And I know I've only got one copy of this. So I'm keeping this for definite. Becky Chambers' Wayfarer series. That's book number 4. That was the last one. Talismans of Shannara. I'm going to get rid of it just because I need to get rid of these Terry Brooks ones. Same with the Scions of Shannara. Get rid of that as well. Okay, this is one of the Adrian Tchaikovsky ones. I think I decided I was going to keep these. I think this is in the pile I'm keeping. Gets a bit confusing. Right. David Crystal's Stories of English. I bought this, very excited to read it, and I think I'm gonna get rid of it because I just don't think I'll get around to reading it. So I'm interested, but I don't think I'm interested enough to read it. So there we go. It's going. This is the older. It's not completely terrible condition, but the other book's better condition. So this is I Know What a Caged Bird Sings. So I'm gonna get rid of this. Anansi Boys, Neil Gaiman. Again, I don't want to get rid of any of my Neil Gaiman stuff, so I'm keeping that. I don't like those covers, but I'll keep that. I was looking for this before. Quotable Star Trek. So when I did the book Trek video, I did talk about the books I already had about Star Trek, and this was one I wanted to talk about but couldn't find it. So this is a really good book. Parable of the Sower, something that we might reread in a group read soon, but certainly I definitely do want to reread it anyway, so I'm keeping that. An interesting book about Alan Moore, so these are all sort of made up of different interviews, and yeah, it's a very good and interesting book about Alan Moore. Okay. Second Rivers of London book. As I said, definitely keeping this. This is my favourite one so far. But yeah, I am keeping this. And then I'll hopefully do a video on the whole series once I've read them. Lies, Damn Lies and History. This is number 7. This is the next one I need to read, actually. So, number 7 in the Chronicles of St. Mary's. I like this series. It's kind of YA-ish, but it's just written really well, and it's got bags and bags of charisma, and it's about time travel and the hijinks that happen when they're going back and forth history. But I do like this one, or this series. This is the next one I need to read. Number 7. Okay, Cowboys and Indies, the epic history of the record industry. I'm going to get rid of this. So this is one that I would normally keep. I'm trying to be brutal, so I'm going to get rid of it. This is a book I really love, and I'm really glad I've got it. Dr. Seuss Goes to War. So this is when Dr. Seuss was drawing editorial cartoons against Hitler and against the Japanese, stuff like that, during the war. So it's kind of an interesting bit of history, and it's Dr. Seuss. So definitely keeping that, and I'll talk about that in that video I was going to do. Jules Verne, Journey to the Centre of the Earth. Definitely need to keep this. And I haven't read this for a long time. I have read it, but not for a long time. Right. I think that's it for this next video. So that was my 4th video on this. Tell me what you think about those books. Hope you enjoyed the little tour around the books that I'm getting rid of and keeping. The pile of books I'm getting rid of is getting bigger. It's going all right. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye.